What's going on, guys? Will Turbot here with the man, the myth, the legend, Fritz Springmeier. This guy was out telling you about the global elite, the deep state, the Illuminati, and naming names long before a lot of people out here were even born. It's a true honor to meet with you in person. I've had him on my show. Thank you very much, Fritz.
Thanks, Will.
So we're going to start off talking about COVID-19 coronavirus. It's on everybody's minds, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know your take on this whole situation. So what's going on in the mind of Fritz Springmeier lately?
The subject is a no-win, because if you go against the establishment and tell the truth, then you're going to be blackballed, blacklisted, and you're going to be considered a danger to society because you're not telling the approved solution. But the thing of it is we're not being told the truth by the mainstream media. But just what is that truth? Well, the bigger picture, we really need to get the bigger picture and put this in that context. And that is the way the elite have worked in the past. They have a modus operandi that they keep using. And that is, you probably heard Hegelian dialectics. They create a problem. Typically, these problems are wars, like World War I, World War II, and then they run social engineering and agendas behind that. Well, this is the greatest war that they could conceive. We've got this invisible enemy out there, and you don't know where it is. It could be your daughter has it. Anybody could be the enemy. It's the perfect war, and people are scared. And so behind this war against this invisible enemy, they're running an agenda, a big agenda. They're bringing in surveillance. They're now beginning to watch through social media and everything else who you're in contact with. They're mapping that out. And the government is giving government agencies the right to do this. Before, it was done in secret by the elite. Now, like the NSA, but now your government is going to be openly doing these things. And it was in the 3-phase program Trump rolled out. It's all there. They get their buzzwords that they use, and it's right there. If you look in black and white what they're going to do, no, we're not going back to normal. As you are well aware, this new buzzword, new normal, is coming in spite of Trump saying that he wants the old normal back. There's a lot more people involved in creating what we're going to end up with than just Trump. He might want one thing, but what we're going to get is a new normal, and it's this agenda that they're running. And I love that meme. I mentioned it to you about where the founding fathers in this cartoon are saying, now let's be clear, none of this applies if people can get sick. And that's basically it. They've stripped us of everything. And years ago, when I interacted with these Illuminati kingpins, they were gloating that they were going to have some kind of plague. I don't think this is the final plague. I think that they're going to roll out even worse ones. I think that there's a 50-year plan for the coronavirus. And by the way, we've all gotten the coronavirus. The coronavirus is just different strains of the cold. We've all gotten the coronavirus. The COVID-19 is just a mutated version of that. So it's not like we haven't had it. And then the test that they're running, it doesn't test for that specific type, the COVID-19, it tests for any. So no wonder they're getting so many positives. And it's no wonder then that there's people that are asymptomatic that are, supposedly positive. Well, what are they positive for? And they've got people really running scared. I live in southwest Kansas, and now it's arrived here. So we're beginning to go through some of the same things that back east and west they've gone through. Yeah, so they're running an agenda. And the thing of it is those people that are awake out there, they're like, well, how did this start? You know, is this bioweapon? Is it China trying to hurt United States? Is it the elite trying to hurt Trump and the economy? I mean, there's so many different ways people go, so many rabbit trails they go down. And I think that a lot of those kind of dead end you, because there's, you know, which one of these theories is correct? Well, forget theories and just realize this is a war that's been manufactured by the elite. How they manufactured it is kind of irrelevant. The fact that they're going to run an agenda behind it is what's critical. And there's many different things out there that can help a person. Unfortunately, Americans are still eating just like they always have. They're not eating healthy. Americans need to boost their immune systems. They need to go online. And there's something called Immunical. It takes a protein from raw milk and then concentrates it in a concentration that you couldn't get from just drinking raw milk. And that boosts your immune system. You can get it online. So for those that are worried, start boosting your immune system by eating healthy. You're going to have to cut out all of your Cokes and stuff like that. You're going to have to, for most Americans, do a radical change in their eating. But there's things people can do, and then from what I understand, it's the people that are immunocompromised that are being taken out by it. But then the statistics are totally bogus too, you know, and that's even Absolutely. Public knowledge. They have publicly, and Trump administration's publicly acknowledged that if you die and it's possible that you had coronavirus and it's possible that it might have been a mitigating factor, they're going to count that as a coronavirus death. And so we've got mortality rates that are totally bogus. And anyway, that's that would be my take.
So, like Rahm Emanuel said, we never let a good crisis go to waste. And I feel like they're doing that with this. How far do you think that they're going to go with this? And as you said, I agree with you. I don't think this is probably going to be the end all be all. But I feel like, you know, they tried 9/11, Sandy Hook, the Boston bombing. This is a different type of false flag, and they're taking full advantage of it. It seems like just now certain Americans are starting to protest. But I mean, what is it? I agree. We were talking before this, saying like this is going to be like 9/11. Like we're not going to get back to that old normal. What do you see as the future of the world we're going to be living in now because as a result of this?
I can only hypothesize, but I speculate that come fall we'll have a resurgence and it'll be worse. And at some point we're going to get a real pandemic, because in talking with these Illuminati elite, they made it sound like when the pandemics really hit, I mean, they're going to do some serious damage, and this isn't doing serious damage. It's just allowing them to have total control over the population. I mean, you have, like you were saying, governor and a mayor arguing over whether people can walk outside, you know. They've got all of our playgrounds here in this area.
We're being rebellious right now. This is how you be a rebel in 2020. We sit in the playground, okay? This is how far it's gone. It's really sad. Yeah, I never thought that America would really fall to this level that we're at now. And even the people that were critical of government and mainstream science are now saying, yo, you guys are doing a great job. And Bill Gates is doing a great job. So what would you say, apart from, coronavirus, the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati, what's the state of those guys in 2020 and looking forward?
Well, you can relate some of this back because, some of them are very heavily financially involved in big pharma. And then the Rockefellers had a study a few years ago where they specifically outlined this whole scenario of this pandemic, that they needed to bring it in. And then you look at who and who's running who. You see, that was one of the things that I was exposing in Be Wise as Serpents back in 1990, was that WHO is a tainted organization that's got some really bad people and bad agendas. And fortunately, Trump was going to, I think he defunded it, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, which is great.
And we were talking too about who funding influencers, because people, like we were talking about, people now are a little more skeptical about science and the media, so they fund influencers, and maybe that's why all these celebrities and Tom Hanks got the blood. I mean, how much do some of these people like Tom Hanks, and we were talking about the Rockefellers too, and Bill Gates has been in there with the Rockefeller family, his parents, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how much do some of these people that we see know, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but yeah, what is, they're doing pretty good with Big Pharma, it seems, right? So
Tom Hanks' lineage goes back to Abraham Lincoln. He's in my Bloodlines of the Illuminati book. Tom Hanks is not a nice person.
No, and Isaac Happy said that, named him and some other people that were pedophiles, and he was a younger man than myself, and they said he jumped off a bridge out in Arizona. So I don't buy that for 1 second.
Yeah, that's what happened when somebody tried to expose Tom Hanks.
And
he was suicided.
And I feel like the American people, thanks to the tireless work of yourself, I mean, this he's also raising a family and he's working too. There's no rest for guys like this. But I felt like we were making progress, and then we had their back against the wall with the whole Epstein thing, and then here comes coronavirus, and then they see these people are our saviors again. And one of the other things that you talk about a lot is the mind control that's going on. What are some elements of the mind control that are going on now? We talked about the new normal and so forth, but if there's a random person turning into this that's maybe not as far down the rabbit hole as we are, what would you give people advice about this mind control that we're under? Because it seems like it's even more intense now.
Well, when people are afraid, they give away all of their freedoms, and that plays into mind control because they're willing to listen and be told anything, oh, this will save me? Okay, then I'm going to do it. And it's really ridiculous the kind of advice they keep giving out. Wash your hands. Like, we haven't been taught to wash our hands our whole life, but people are just soaking it up. So they're handing their minds over to these people. So it's, it goes along with mind control, definitely. The trauma-based mind control that I exposed after a number of years of working with lots of its victims, and the trauma-based mind control goes by different names. It goes by MK Ultra, Monarch programming, and a number of other things. But anyway, I came to take the approach that a better name would be fear-based mind control, because they would torture and traumatize these little children. And I worked with the adults that had been child victims of this programming, and they would be just terrified. There would just be these titanic tsunami waves of fear roll through them. And I think fear itself is enough to control people.
Absolutely. Fritz, you've been very generous with your time. I appreciate you. I know you got a lot to do, but thank you very much. And guys, pentracks.com, we got to get this information out here because, I mean, us as a country, we're hanging on by a very, very small thread, and it takes you to do something nonviolent in order for us to change things around. pentracks.com and demand the truth.